Gosh darn it, okay. So hi. I've got a video to film and honestly I don't even know. I just wanted to film it because I told you guys I was gonna do an update on my medication because I did a video about using Prozac and how that has helped me in my life and stuff. And I told you guys that I would do a update on Olanzapin because I've been on Olanzapin for a few weeks now, and I'm on a really low dose of Olanzapin because I am bipolar. I have bipolar 1, and that is supposed to keep me in balance basically. It's a mood stabilizer, okay? An antipsychotic mood stabilizer. And the Olanzapin So Far, that's what this video is about, okay? Like how's it been going and stuff. So just kinda tell you about it. So yeah, at first I started with Olanzapin 5 milligrams, and that was way too much for me. Like I felt like I was like kind of like almost sleeping. Like I was kind of a carrot. Like I was how do you say it, like a zombie. I was kind of like way too sedated and way too tired all the time, and like I honestly could feel it. Like I felt fuzzy and all kinds of like way too sedated. And I told that to my doctor, who luckily is a amazing person and listens to patients. So they lowered my dose with half. So now it's only 2.5 milligrams. And honestly, I have to tell you guys that it's going better, okay? Like it's going better with that. But it's not without its kind of like problems. And maybe this video is about that, just to let you guys know like what my experience is like on Olanzapin. And disclaimer, yours might be completely different, okay? Like one of the things is that with all medications, especially mental health medications, it's super like subjective, okay? So one thing might work for me like super well, and I might be like jiving with it and be like, oh my god, this is the best shit ever. And next thing might not work for me at all and might work for you great. So you know, like that's the reality of things, and that's the kind of problem with this, is that even doctors don't know which medication is going to be good for you. So and some of them have side effects and they're good at the same time. Like some of them just have some side effects that you can't kind of avoid, and yeah, this might be that kind of case, okay? So what it does well for me, okay? Like I've been sleeping like a baby, okay? Like I sleep so well nowadays. I used to have problems with falling asleep and staying asleep, and like getting good night rest was kind of a little bit of a problem for me at times before being on Olanzapin, because maybe I was a little hypo manic or something. And yeah, it's been easier since I started that medication, which is a good thing, okay? The other thing I notice it does really well for me is that it kind of slows down everything in my body, okay? Like before I used to I used to tell my friends and my boyfriend that I feel like a squirrel all the time. Like I'm going places and my body's like reacting to everything, and I'm like, everything is going, like I have 10,000 thoughts, and like my heart is racing all the time. And you know how that might sound great, but in the long term it's really taxing. Like it's really, really, really making your body and mind getting overworked, okay? Like it's really tiring at like in the end, okay? So that's why I really loved that this medication of Olanzapin helped me kind of like calm down a little bit. Like it calms me down, it calms my body down, it calms my mind down just a little bit, so I can like center myself and not feel so affected by everything happening around me. Because I felt like I was almost like this ADHD type. I don't have ADHD, but like that attention deficit type of problems. And I've heard that many bipolar people have that kind of issues when they're a little hypomanic, that they can't focus and their focus is all over the place, and like their energy is so scattered, you know. And I had that, but I thought that was normal. Okay, and now like after I've been on Olanzapin, I've been like, is this how normal people feel? Like their attention isn't divided into thousands of places at the same time, and like they're focusing on one thing, and they have moments of no thoughts basically. And like I've never experienced that before. But now that I'm on Olanzapin, I have like calm moments where my brain is calm, my body is calm. Even like now, my pulse is super low. Like that's like the biggest like physical thing I've noticed is my pulse is low, and I don't get agitated as easily as I do without Olanzapin, okay? So yeah, so that's great, okay? Why is it great? Because if you are overworking yourself all the time, you get tired, you get burned out, and that's happened to me before, and I don't want that to happen again. And yeah, so that's been good. And it also does kind of take, like I've noticed it kind of takes the edge off my anxiety a little bit. What I mean by this is that usually when something like terrible to me happens, I mean like I get a bad test result at school, or I have so much things going on that I don't know where to start, or like something happens like that. Something that's out of control happens. Normally I would be like devastated by it, or like it would be a huge blow. And now I feel like, okay, like that's unpleasant. Like whereas it was before, my reaction was before like, oh my god, this is terrible. This is fucking terrible. And I went like, there. Now it's like, that's unpleasant. Which is a lot more like normal reaction to things, I think. Like it's not over the top like my usual reactions, okay? So I'm not as over the top. My brain isn't the squirrel brain that I usually have, that scattered attention, low attention span, not able to focus on anything. So that's also good. Then, so yeah, it kind of actually stabilizes my moods a little bit, which is good. But then let's talk about the negative sides, because we have those too. Gosh darn it, okay? So yeah, the negative sides of Olanzapin, even on this low dose, I'm super tired all the time, okay? Like as I said, it makes me sleep really good. Well, the problem is I'm really sleepy even next day. I need to take like daytime naps because I'm like super exhausted suddenly. Like I go and I do my work day or I do my school day, and I'm just like, after that I'm like, oh, I'm pooped, and I need to like take like 2 hours of like just sleeping. I also feel way more sleepy way more early than normally. Normally I would go to sleep like 11 p.m. and now I'm like 9 p.m. and I'm like, lights out, I'm tired, I must go to sleep. So I noticed that I'm super sleepy on Olanzapin, okay? Like, yeah, and I'm groggy all the time, like that's kind of annoying even. Like it almost stabilizes me so much that I'm groggy all the time. And like a little sleepy, and I get like, I start yawning at work suddenly and stuff, so that's kind of annoying. And I don't really feel like doing a lot of things either because I'm tired. It's like I feel like, yeah, I could go out for a walk and stuff, but I'm like, I'm so groggy, I just want to sleep. Like that's kind of like the negative side effect. And I'm wondering if that's gonna go away at some point, maybe. Or maybe I just need to like go and do stuff even though I feel like sleeping, okay. So yeah, so it makes me a little groggy, a little tired all the time, kind of. But it's not like depression tiredness. It's more like, oh, I want to take a nap type of tiredness. It's different, okay? Because then if I decide like, oh, well, I'm gonna do something, then it's easy for me to start doing things anyway. So it's not like I'm depressed or anything. I don't think so. So it doesn't make me depressed. That's different. The depression type of tiredness, to me, it's like when I have that, it's like I can't do anything, and I'm like so tired, and I'm like so exhausted. And it's not like that. It's more like I'm tired, but I'll manage. I'm tired, but I'll have a cup of coffee and then I'll manage. You know, like that with Olanzapin. And then another thing, oh my god, I'm so afraid of like gaining weight on this medication because I'm hungry all the time. Like they told me this is gonna happen, and I was waiting for this side effect and I knew it was gonna hit, but like I'm so hungry all the time. Like when I stop eating, it's like 30 minutes and I'm starving again. Like it's so annoying. I mean, if I was to eat every time I was like hungry with this medication, I'd probably gain like 10 kilograms, like easily. Like I need to be really mindful about my eating, and like I crave things so much. It's so annoying. And they told me this was gonna happen. Like this is a side effect of the drug. Like it makes you super hungry, and it makes your hunger pangs worse, and it makes you crave things, and especially like things that are unhealthy. So like I need to really like be hard on myself about that. Like I need to like look at the clock and see if it's time to eat actually, or if it's just my craving, okay? You know, like that's, I noticed that. And it's annoying because you don't get to feel like you are full ever. Like every time I eat, like I'm not full, and it's annoying. And it's a cause of the side effect, I think, because I've never had this before, Olanzapin. And I think honestly that I've actually gained some weight, and like I need to keep that on check. And sometimes people gain weight on this medication even though they don't even increase their eating, because the Olanzapin kind of like does something metabolically to them. But I think my dose is quite small, so I'm not sure if that's gonna happen to me. I don't know. But I've noticed that I'm hungry all the time, okay? So yeah, hungry, groggy. Those are like the worst things about it. Then I noticed that it does kind of taper my like inspiration. As an artist and a person who likes to paint, I noticed that I have less intent and kind of like this drive to paint, okay? Which is a little sad, okay? Like that's kind of the sad point, is like, okay, it's giving me stability. The medication is giving me stability, which is great for my life otherwise, but it's kind of taking edge off of my interests, you know? Like before I had this kind of like huge, like I need to paint beautiful paintings right now, right this second, this kind of like creative moments. And I feel like, unfortunately, this medication is tapering those down. So now my inspiration is milder, and I don't feel the colors. Like I used to feel the colors. I know that sounds weird, but I used to feel what colors I was supposed to put on the like painting, and it felt like the whole painting was alive, and I had this kind of like really insane inspiration. I called it divine spark. Like it's this divine spark of inspiration. And unfortunately, I think that was due to my hypomania. And now that I don't have my hypomania, I'm not as creative. And I don't know if it's just me. Does Olanzapin kill creativity? I'm not sure, but for me personally, it really does affect it, at least. And yeah, but then again, like the trade-off of that inspiration, again, like it's getting hypomanic and after that getting depressed. So like I don't think it's a bad trade-off at all. Like I do miss feeling the colors of paintings, or feeling the colors when I look at other people's artwork. Like I have so many connections and feelings, and like everything speaks to me in colors and everything speaks to me in shapes, and like that's my experience. That's why I love art. But like that has tapered off. Like I don't get that anymore as much as I used to. So maybe Olanzapin does kind of inhibit your creativity a little bit. And this is just my experience on it. I don't know if anyone else has had the same thing. Like, for example, when I paint, like it's not creating this inner amazing turmoil that it usually does. Like it's not larger than life like it is usually for me. So I do think that part of my hypomania was painting, and now that the hypomania is kind of like gone because of Olanzapin, like part of my like artistic creativity is on hold also. But again, this is a trade-off, okay? Like using medication and healing is a trade-off, okay? Like I think that some of those like artistic moods were not good for me. They were really taxing, and even though I felt great painting, afterwards I felt really empty and kind of like I'd given my all and I was like a little burned out. So is it worth it is a question, okay? Like, yeah. So that's my experience on Olanzapin, okay? And yeah, so mine is kind of like midway type of experience. I don't feel it's super great. I don't feel it's super bad for me. I definitely feel like it's better than aripiprazole. I was on aripiprazole and oh my god, that made me feel so nauseous all the time. It did not work well with me. I felt nauseous every day on aripiprazole. So it's a step up from that, I need to say. Like, yeah, I definitely enjoy this medication a lot more and I feel like it works better for me. But like, yeah, it's kind of like I'm still getting used to the fact that when you're sick, you need to think and prioritize, and sometimes you need to like sacrifice one thing for the other. And I'm kind of like trying to not feel too bad about like losing that art interest stuff, and yeah, but it's still getting to me a little bit. Like I feel like I have this kind of like existential crisis. Olanzapin gave me existential crisis. Oh my god, I'm so dramatic. But like I feel like because I feel different, I feel like, oh, so normal people probably feel like this all the time, and like, am I normal? Or like, is this what healthy people feel like? And I'm like, okay, like it's a existential crisis. Almost. Not having hypomania feels weird to me. Not having it, because I'm so used to sometimes having it, and I'm used to my brain being squirrel brain, so I'm like, this is so weird, okay? Like I feel like I'm in a completely different headspace right now, and like nobody else can see inside my head and nobody else can see that I've changed, but I feel there's been a change. So yeah, I'm not sure it's all good, but it's definitely not all bad, okay? So yeah, that's my experience on Olanzapin. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you are scared of medication, I'm just gonna tell you, like, be honest with your doctor, and I'm sure you guys will figure it out together, because like mine, for example, when things don't work, they do listen to me a lot, and we are trying to make things work together instead of them just ordering me around, you know? Like, just tell your doctors if you feel unsafe or unwell or anything. Like, these things are often the kind of things that you can talk to your doctor about, and you guys can like work things out so it benefits you, okay? Like, yeah, I don't think you should be too scared of medication, honestly, because you can always stop taking it if it's honestly like really, really bad. Like nobody can, like, well, maybe they can force you, but I don't think they want to force you unless it's absolutely necessary for your own safety and well-being. So it's highly unlikely that they're gonna force you, okay? So yeah, just be honest, okay? And that's my advice on the whole medication thing. And of course, everybody does what's best for them. But yeah, that's all. I hope you guys like this video, and I see you guys in my next one. Bye.